Guess what? Stream is now on. Yay. Means we can talk about all the things that Ryan wants to talk about. We're 10 minutes early for our tea time. I feel like I did a good job getting up and managing my time today, Ryan.
Why?
I don't know. I just feel like I did.
When did you wake up?
I don't know, 9:30. Dude, I've done so much shit in the last 4 days that I can barely walk. I've never felt this old before. I want you to know that. Never.
Not me. I'm in my prime.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that. You know why we're going to talk about that? Because they're trying to include you in the Switch 2 announcements this week. Ooh. They are. They're being all-inclusive for Ryan and his people.
Such a weird thing to say.
Ow. Yeah, as part... So...
People aren't gonna like my response to that one.
That's fine. I'm not gonna ask you about it. I was joking.
I
It's
think
more of an inside joke.
it is, but it'd be funny.
It would be funny. All right, so we need to get our game set up. Ryan's over here with Wiggler trying to unlock some clubs or something. Did you get it unlocked?
I got the second one's unlocked. I don't have the third. I'm at like.
There's only
20
two.
I'm at like 23,000 points. So
2,300.
whatever. Yeah.
Okay, so there's.
I don't have the third set of clubs. I
Okay,
could
so
probably,
you have the basic set, you have the first unlocked, and you don't have the second unlocked.
Yeah, I could have done it this morning, but I decided not to.
Okay.
I hate this fucking hole so much.
Play golf. Network play. Local play. Button controls. Just me on my system. Create a room. No password. I guess we're just gonna make it 3 players. We're gonna put we're not gonna put the CPU skill on anything because we're not gonna have CPU. Stroke play all at once or take turns. Voices all at once. All right.
Whichever you want to do, Skip. It's all up to you.
Oh, apparently I screwed that up.
What?
I knocked you guys off the.
I think they're annoying as shit, to be honest.
Well, I can turn off super shots.
Well, I liked it in the old game where they were. I like powers. I'm fine with that, where you can do something like get a better curve or whatnot. Combat kind of just cheeses it out.
Well, do you want to turn off the
Again,
power shots?
You can do it however you want. I'm just trying to figure out how the
Can I turn
there we
golf
go.
mode,
Christ.
standard, battle, target, standard? Okay, that's fine. Wait. I'm looking to see. No, there's not a way to turn those off.
Battle shots? Yeah, there is.
No, there is in the single player, but not in the room.
Yeah, well, it's 2100 now.
Yeah, so there's not. Stroke play all at once. Yeah, there's no way to turn that off on the multiplayer in the online. So just don't do it. We'll all just, gentlemen, agree not to do it. Does that work? Don't be a dick. Like, we're gonna operate under standard rules of don't be a dick. Yeah, see, it's not in there. It's not in there.
Oh, no shit, they don't really have a lot of options on. Don't they let you pick the course?
Yes.
Maybe it's up in that area then.
No. Well, I haven't yet. It hasn't let me yet.
That's what I mean. I
Oh,
think
maybe it will.
maybe it'll
maybe
do
it
up
will.
there. Hey, the boy connected right away.
Hey. I'm gonna post this. There it is. We made our tea time. We did. We made our tea time. You know what we didn't do though, boy? We didn't get any Arnold Palmers for today.
Have you a valediction boil?
We didn't get any Arnold Palmers.
You haven't seen that movie either, Choops.
Everyone's got to ready up.
I'll show you that scene in a while. It's glorious. You just got to understand how good it is.
Okay, so I can pick the first set of clubs.
Well, we're gonna do the par 3 hole, so it doesn't matter. So you can do the
Why are we gonna do the par 3?
because it's fun. Have you done it?
I did one of them. I don't like the new Donk City one.
We're not doing that.
I haven't done the other one.
All right. So it doesn't matter what clubs you pick.
It kind of seems like it matters what clubs you pick.
Not for that one.
Luigi.
You could. We can go with the regular on that one. You can pick any character for this one.
All right, we will do par 3.
These are fast. That's why
I know.
the first
okay,
one.
that's fine. We'll do the par 3 now. It's
Shelltop Sanctuary.
Shelltop Sanctuary. Fine. You want 18 holes?
Well, 18. I would turn
Special shots are off.
Yeah, special shots off. You can do. It doesn't matter on the wind. It's going to be harder. I wouldn't do the pro layout because it's definitely harder.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
But this is fast. when you
Okay,
set it.
that's fine. We can do that.
Yeah, set it to this. These are. This is hole in one, easy, simple.
Fine. We'll do this.
It's fun.
All right. We're all getting set up for tea time. So yeah, I was gonna tell you. So my son bought us all tickets to go see Papa Roach and Rise Against
Just want to play Ace Combat.
for Christmas, and that concert was on Thursday finally. And so we went to that, and I've never felt more old in my life. Ooh, ooh, what a shot!
Nice approach.
But it was a great concert. It was very enjoyable. We had a really good time at the concert.
Nice birdie.
The boy is pitching up from the rough. Got to make that go. Yeah, we had stroke 4. Oh no, par. You got par. Okay, good job. So we went to that, and then to round out my daughter's spring break. She's been on spring break this week. Friday, she wanted to go to a hockey game, so we went to see a Grizzlies game. And they won. My wife had actually never been in, 40 plus years of life, had never been to a Grizzlies game where they won. So that was kind of nice.
Birdie.
But that's a lot of walking around the Maverick Center as well.
Nice.
And then yesterday we went outside and played hockey because she just wanted to do more of that, which I really shouldn't have done on my foot, but I did anyway. So I am having a really hard time walking around right now. Ah, shit. I don't even know if that's going to get there.
What is that from? That's gonna bug me.
Oh my god. Never
Oh.
mind. I'm 1 foot away.
That's the quote. You wouldn't believe how much this is.
Nice birdie.
What's that from?
Meet the medic.
Oh, yeah.
That's when the scout goes,
Yeah.
he's like, you guys wouldn't believe.
How much this hurts. Yeah. I do like that. So, yeah, it's been a real busy week, and my feet have to stay up for the rest of the day. We gotta do lunch at some point. I know we brought you breakfast. Did you eat it?
No, I put it in the fridge.
Oh. It's really good. My wife made biscuits and gravy this morning. So, that was good.
Dude, so close.
Nice approach.
This is the stupidest fucking... I'm not gonna make this. Yeah. I got a par. You know how angry that makes me that I got a par? I pushed the button for a tap in. Why didn't it just tap it in? Whatever.
Can you not?
No, I didn't think so. Thought it was just push the tap in, but
All right, this hole sucks.
Yeah, you
you
gotta
actually
go-
have to overshoot.
you gotta overshoot it because of the height. Yes. Yeah, except for I lifted it all the way off the back of the green. Thanks.
I hit the pole pretty much. Look, I overshot, but not by a ton.
Yeah. Yeah, you're still... Ryan, I'm not on the green.
I realize that. Overshots anywhere from past the hole to,
Oh, get in there.
Yeah.
Get in there. God damn it. What's up, Black Wolf? All right, so the real big news this week. So
Damn,
every time...
Exactly. Damn.
Every time we come over to Ryan's, we always sit and talk about whatever happened in video games for the week. The big news for this week is that on Wednesday, they finally showed us all what the Switch 2 is all about. And we're not going to watch that video because we're playing golf. But we're going to talk about it. So I'm going to recommend, if you have not seen the hour-long presentation, to watch the hour-long presentation after we're done talking about it. How about that? Just to get caught up with everything that's going on. And then, because we are the people that we are, we spent the next 3 days looking into all of the shit that they didn't bother to tell us during the presentation. That, you know, basically their presentation spawned more questions than it answered, and then we went out looking for those answers, and it was unpleasant. Is that a good word to describe it?
I think you're completely bonkers.
He thinks I'm completely bonkers. I think I am not bonkers. So we'll start here. You ready? Wait, let's try that. Ooh, I stopped that 3 feet from the hole. Let's start here. Was there any other news besides that this week?
What are you talking about? The tariffs is the major news.
Yeah,
The Switch is the minor news.
yeah, the tariffs are a thing, which we're not gonna get into and go over because we're not.
Nice birdie.
You just wait till the PS5 goes up in price and the rest stuff.
Well, it already did everywhere else.
No, it did once before this.
Yeah,
It's gonna do it
again. Well, it's gonna do it here now.
That's the point everybody was saying. That was what the ESA and everybody said. If you think this is Switch 2 only news, you're insane.
No, it's not Switch 2 only news. Absolutely not. That I understood. And that's the thing. So like for those of you who don't know, in Europe, the Switch 2 is going to cost more.
Nice
The
approach.
PlayStation 5 already does cost more. It's $550 over there, isn't it? Or $600?
I don't know. Euros is always weird. It doesn't matter anyway.
Even without the conversion, like the way that it converts to American money,
Nice.
it's when we sell them for $450, $500 here, they sell them for $550, $600 over there. In Australia, it's like $1,000 of American money to get it. It's crazy, right? But they'd already done those price increases before. We don't ever see those price increases here in America, because they do that in other places. That's just how that's always worked. We are going to see them here now. That is pretty much the only thing that we're going to say about tariffs. I highly recommend finding an economist to explain to you exactly what tariffs are and how they work and what is going on if you really want to know. But no, they expect to see price increases for everything. To give you an example of this, we've already actually seen it. Ryan bought a new computer 2 weeks ago. Speaking of which, is there an update on the delivery date for that?
Yes.
When is it coming?
Tuesday.
Really?
Yeah, apparently early.
Dude, seriously, it wasn't supposed to come till May. You're getting your new shit on Tuesday?
Apparently they got stock from Nvidia somehow.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, new computer for Ryan. We went back and looked up the price of his computer from what he paid for it 2.5 weeks ago. It's already gone up $500. Okay. So again, we're gonna see that stuff.
Birdie.
I'm not making a comment about whether or not it's good or bad, or gonna do the intended things of whatever else it's supposed to be. We're not gonna talk about that. We're just gonna talk about them under the context of this is happening.
Electronics as a whole are going to go up in price.
Yes, everything as a whole is gonna go up in price. But
And the question now is the Switch preempting this? Because it's not like everybody didn't know it was coming.
right.
And is this just the first wave? And if so, where is it going to go from here?
So let's talk about that. We watched the presentation, okay? At the end of the presentation, boy, were you going to buy a Switch 2? No, at the end of the presentation. Wait, say that again.
Yes.
The boy says yes. At the end of the presentation, he was going to buy a Switch 2. Ryan, at the end of the presentation, were you going to buy a Switch 2?
I was going to buy a Switch 2 regardless of the price.
He's going to buy a Switch 2. At the end of the presentation that I was super stoked for, I was not going to buy a Switch 2. I didn't want it. Then we looked into some more things about it, and it got even worse for me.
0 win. The first.
I know, 0 win. At that point, I was like, I don't want to Switch 2. Now, anybody who knows me or has been around enough to know that I'm a Nintendo junkie. I mean, we're here playing fucking Mario Golf right now. That's unheard of for me. Now, boy, here's the next question. After looking into the other information about the Switch 2, did you still want to buy a Switch 2? He decided against it. He was like, nah. We're on the no Switch 2 thing right now. So let's talk about why. I have so many reservations about this. Number one, during the presentation, just the basic questions that didn't get answered. During the presentation, they did not give a price for it at all. They kept telling everybody, go out after. I hit the pin, man. And then he put it in. The boy just hit a hole in one.
Again, you'll do a lot on this one. I saw the AI do it 4 times in 1 AP.
Yeah, he just hit a hole in one. Good job, boy. So, yeah. They didn't give a price during the presentation. They told everybody to go after the presentation to the new website that they put up and go check it out and see all the information for it. If you go to that website, it showed the cost of the Switch 2 being $499.99. I'm sorry, $449.99. So it's $450.
God.
And there's a $500 bundle with it that comes with Mario Kart World, which was the premier game that they showed during the presentation. Mario Kart World is going to be the flagship game for the Switch 2 at launch. They showed us a trailer for Mario Kart World.
Nice car.
Let's talk about that. Ryan?
Mario Kart.
But here's my...
Listen, Mario Kart hasn't been Mario Kart since long before now.
Ready?
This to me looks no different than the last one, so I have no complaints about it.
He was
I
pretty
have
good.
complaints. This is still the same as 8, which to me Double Dash was peak. Like, if you're saying that this is anywhere near those, no. Is it
I don't
near
know
the
if it's
DS
anywhere-
one? Is it near the Game Boy Advance one?
I mean, okay, so
No.
what's... So you want to say the split for Mario Kart... Oh my god, Ryan put in a hole in one.
See?
Dude, I am just off my game today, apparently. So you want to tell me that the split on Mario Kart happened with Double Dash?
I'm gonna say it happened from the Wii one on.
The Wii one on. Okay, so with the Wii one on, which one's the best Mario Kart?
Probably.
No, I don't think so. It's probably the Switch one.
It's
Yeah.
probably the Switch one, but it's still not what I'd call. There's 4 different. At this point, there's like 4 different types of Mario Kart. You have the original and the original Game Boy Advance one, which are fairly close to each other somewhat. Then you have the
The
64,
64 and the GameCube one are
and the
pretty much...
GameCube one. They're a little different, but they play a lot alike.
Yeah.
You have the DS one, which kind of merges with the Wii one.
That was the first one that was online.
They're the first ones that give you like snaking and the rest of it, right? They focus more on advanced technique. And then you have the modern era.
Modern era, which was you better snake and you better
it's
be...
not just that. It's also part party game. So it's hard for me to quantify it as...
Yeah, I guess that's
I
true.
think I lost my...
So that's the... You lost what?
Yeah, hit the button on the back of it like an idiot.
Oh. You're on. Looks like you're on.
Oh, it's blinking. I don't think I'm connected. See,
Okay.
he's gonna golf for me, I think, in a second.
Okay, now push the button. He's hooked up. Connection error, so you're out. You just get... We're on 17.
Let's see if I can join it.
I doubt it. We'll finish our 2 holes and then we'll set up another one. You were at -15, so as long as none of us... We'll give you a birdie for each one. That'll put you at 18 under.
Nice birdie.
So as long as neither one of us get to 18 under, you would have won this round.
I would have won it anyway.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you would have. Okay, so yeah, I will agree with you that it's party game. The new Mario Kart World looks like it's way more party game than the games before it.
Yeah, so to me, this isn't really any different than the last one or even the Wii one. I do like the wall hopping bit, and there's probably still a great deal of Mario Kart.
You could do that in the last one.
That's my point. Mario Kart still has skill to it, but it's like this. This is not like the old Mario Golf when you add in the combat, because the other one didn't have combat. You had super shots and unique things you could do, but it wasn't quite as offensive.
Yeah.
Now I realized why
It was still golf.
It was still golf.
Yeah.
This is like halfway there.
This is Mario Kart is still karting, but it's now some off-road adventure.
If Mario Kart was bumper cars to begin with, now it's bumper cars plus Mario Kart.
Plus Mario Party. Okay.
And
I
there's
guess
about-
that's fair.
And this is all Nintendo, right? Because they've always been like this. It was never pure. The more,
I still beat Kit. I beat Kit. That's a good one.
and he got a hole in one.
And he got a hole in one. He got a hole in one. So there you go. The empty one still beat us according to this. We would have given you that extra. So yeah, so I will agree with you. It's more Mario Party in some regards. So here's my thing. Like I didn't play 8.
Again, I don't hate it. I just don't think it's for me as much as.
the Wii U.
I played 8 on the Wii U when it first came out, and I played some of the DLC tracks when they first came out. Did I just really restart that? Okay, I'm creating a room again. 3 players, amateur skill, all at once. Room is almost open.
It's like saying, I mean, do you like Smash Ultimate compared to Melee?
No. I don't see. My hatred of Smash Brothers comes from a different place, though.
Yeah.
My hatred of Smash
All
Brothers comes from a
communities.
completely different place. So, and you know what? There is some overlap with Mario Kart. My hatred of Mario Kart is that people treat it like it's a professional fucking sport. They treat Smash Brothers like it's a professional fucking sport, and it's not. Okay? It's just a video game. When I want to play Smash Brothers, I don't want to go to Evo, and I don't want to be up on the big stage as some professional fuck up, whatever it is. I don't want that. I just want to sit in a room and play with people. And you can't play that game with people anymore because there's always that one guy who's constantly snaking, who's constantly like manipulating drops for a blue shell, or, you know, he's got his timing down so right that you can't, he's unstoppable when you play.
You have just described the entire fighting game community.
So I much prefer a casual experience to fucking main stage at Evo. And the people who play Mario Kart now, there's always some guy in the room who does that. The people who play Smash Brothers now, there's always some dipshit who ruins it for everyone else. Like, so I'll give you a story. I'll give you an example of this, okay? One time we had a work event at my last job, and what we did for that work event, because our team was all over. We had guys in Brazil, we had guys in different places in America, we had people all over, right? What we did for team building was we played Quake. Now, it became very clear to me when we got on and played Quake that I was going to shred them, okay? A couple of the guys, because they're programmers, were like, we want to relive. You want to do the same one?
You can do whatever. Like, All-Stars looks harder. I did play Bonnie Greens for a whole round earlier. I've not done the other.
I've actually been practicing Balmy Dunes this week.
Let's do it.
All right, well, Ridge Rock's okay, but Balmy Dunes seems like the way to go. Our special shots are off. Wind, I'm going to turn it to light because this place blows like crazy. So we're going to go with that. All right, we'll get that. But no, we were playing Quake, and I was absolutely destroying these guys. It became very clear to me very, very upfront that if I continued to play the way I want to play Quake, I was going to ruin this event. So you know what I did? I started jumping into the lava and killing myself and certain hazards and things like that. And I started standing still for some of it to let them beat me. And I understood the assignment. Does that make sense? When I play Smash Brothers or Mario Kart against those unhinged people, they don't understand the assignment. And I hate that. That's where my hatred of those games come from. Okay? In more recent days, everybody takes it way too fucking serious, and it's just a game. Now they got the online part for Mario Kart World, and they've got all the fucking chat functions, and they got all this other stuff. So when I saw it, I was like, this is not for me. That doesn't mean it's not for other people, and other people can enjoy it, but the more I looked at it, the more I was going, this is definitely not for me. And that's basically the only game that they showed for it. That, the Donkey Kong
Why
game.
the fuck does it roll so goddamn much there?
Yeah, you gotta really, like, drop that early. So for me, Mario Kart was like, no. But the big feature to it, the part I didn't understand, is there's now an off-road mode for it. So basically, you jump off the course, and you can just go off-roading like you're playing MX versus ATV Unleashed in a Mario Kart, and just travel to wherever the hell you want and take emote pictures with your friends in a group. Because I want to go out and put my pictures on Instagram or so. I don't know. I couldn't even come up with like a good use case for it. I was like, does anybody care about this?
I think it's actually good in one way.
Okay, I want to hear it.
Picture. We'll use 64 and the original. You've played Wario's Raceway in 64.
Yeah, and I know about the shortcut.
No, I'm
cheating
not
shit.
referring to the shortcut. Now you've played Block Fort in the multiplayer in the original.
Yes.
So imagine combining them together so you have an open world that you can go around and do whatever, but you also have a race at the same time. Obviously, if you join a race and go off course, you're not going to come first place. Like,
No.
it's still a course and it's still...
But are you gonna go find something? Like you're gonna get some kind of special mushroom to unlock a character or something? Like
Maybe there is. Maybe there's
Maybe?
secrets. Maybe
I don't know.
You can just go around and fuck around. and they have secrets and other
Oh,
things.
yeah, but
Now,
at this
do I
point,
think that it matters?
hold on, everybody, hold on. Let's say this out front. If they say skins, that's code for microtransactions. Okay, let's be very clear about that. Skins is microtransactions.
Nice car.
Yeah. So again, the more I saw it, the more I didn't. I was like, whatever. I was completely indifferent to Mario Kart. It's not a system seller for me, right?
It's a system seller for the people who were going to.
Yeah, and that's fine. It can be a system seller for the people who are going to play it. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not trying to take away their joy or anything like that. But then again, after the thing, you go away from the presentation. You go to look at the price, and it says that the Switch 2, $450, $500 with Mario Kart. Mario Kart by itself is $79.99. Explain to me when Mario Kart became an $80 fucking game. And before you say the instant that it sold 50 million copies on the Switch, no. Mario Kart is not an $80 game. I mean, like they were talking about it, like we were complaining about this when the Zelda came out on the Switch. The Tears of the Kingdom was $10 more than normal games because they could charge it, and they were gonna get it. This is not $70. This is $80 fucking dollars. This isn't even what PlayStation is doing right now.
And this is where things were going.
$80 fucking dollars for Mario Kart?
This was where it was always going.
Nice shot.
So I was like, what the hell?
Again, par for the course, unintended.
Yeah, those things.
Nice.
80 is the new price for Switch 2 games. Black Wolf, that's not true. So they showed another marquee game during the presentation, okay? Besides some of the other stuff that we're gonna go over, right? The other big game that's exclusive to the Switch 2 that they showed was Donkey Kong. What's it called? Bonanza, but like a banana, spelled like banana. The Donkey Kong game, if you go look at their website for, is only $70. So $80 is not the new price for Switch 2. The Donkey Kong game I thought looked kind of fun, like completely destructible environment and smashing stuff. Like Donkey Kong, I'm not gonna say it was like a primary draw for me, but it looked like fun. I would play it for sure if I had a Switch 2.
Nice shot.
But that game, so if you want to tell me that the new price of games is $70, I'm fine with that. You want to tell me that the new price of Mario Kart and Zelda is $80, I have a problem with that.
I think the moment Grand Theft Auto 5 comes out, you're going to think that this
6.
was...
Grand Theft Auto 6
comes out, you're going to think that this was pretty standard.
Now we've been making this joke for a couple of months, well, for longer than a couple of months, but we've been talking about it. When Sony raised the price on the games to $70, we said that we've been paying more than $70 for games this whole time anyway, because none of us bought the base game for Monster Hunter Wilds. We all bought the collector's special ultimate crazy, get you skins and make your e-penis grow version of it, right? And that was $120 or whatever else it is. So when it comes to things like special editions, add-ons, cosmetics, whatever that is, we've all been paying more than that for video games for a while anyway, but there was always still the base game, right? You could always still just get the basic game for way less. Yeah, I dropped that in. There we go. That way, if somebody could do it, if somebody needed to get that, they could still just go get it. Even like the Sony games, right? Spider-Man 2 had the collector's edition for like $120, and then there was just the base game for $70. I bought the base one because I didn't give a shit about the collector's stuff. I bought Spider-Man 2 on the PC or on the PlayStation 5 the day it came out. I think we actually hit that as a goal on the channel. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure the stream bought that. Thank you, stream. But yeah, so if someone wants to argue that $80 or $70 is the new price of video games, I will kind of go okay, and I'll grumble a little bit about that. The same way I grumbled when $60 became the new price of video games. But $80 is not that. And they know that because Donkey Kong's not $80.
I will also point out the Ocarina of Time and many other games on the 64 were $70 at launch.
So Ocarina of Time being $70 was because of a cartridge problem. Not because of a software problem.
Cartridges were more expensive, no doubt.
Yes.
But if you're saying that games haven't always been expensive, then you're misleading.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if Ocarina of Time.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I saw that
is
bounce off that. That was pretty funny. If Ocarina of Time had been released as a digital game for the N64, it would not have been $70. It would have been whatever the standard MSRP is. That's the difference. Mario Kart's going to be $80 as a digital fucking game.
It's $50 if you buy it in a bundle.
Oh, if you buy it with the bundle, that makes me feel better. Another disturbing report I heard after the fact, not from the presentation, is that the cartridges are not going to actually contain anything on them, that they're going to be downloaded to your system, or you're going to have to connect to the internet and download them anyway, like PlayStation 5 games
So
do now.
you didn't see that one. They clarified further on that.
Did they?
It's even weirder in a way.
It's even weirder. Oh, good. I can't wait.
Nice shot.
There are games that will be essentially a cartridge in a box that has nothing on
It
it.
has nothing on it, but they're charging more for the cartridge. I
But-
did also hear Mario Kart was going to be $90 if you bought it
However, this is not the only thing with that. Even though it's a cartridge in a box, it has the game, like the download is still tied to the cartridge.
Right, so you have to put the
No,
cartridge
no.
in the system.
No, you have to put the cartridge in the system, which also means they're still resellable. Even though it's a digital download, it's still resellable. It
A
keeps
resellable digital download.
Yeah, a resellable digital download. So in a way,
that's
it's
fucking
actually
weird,
less of a fucking if you actually are gonna sell it.
Okay,
later.
that sounds like less of a fucking. It also still sounds confusing as hell, and
Well,
it's like they took everybody else's business model and took the weirdest parts of it to try and.
the
cobble something
alternative
together.
is to deal with limited run nonstop. This is an in-between.
I'm telling you, man, if there comes a day where you put it in your system and it doesn't work,
Ready?
you put a cartridge in your system and it doesn't work, that's going to be a problem. Now, to say that it's new, I'm not going to say it's new because PlayStation does that now, right? You put
They
the
all do
disc
it
in
now,
your system.
depending on the game.
Yeah, you put your disc in your system and it makes you download the entire fucking thing anyway. So I'm not going to say that that's new, but it's new for Nintendo, that's for sure.
No,
And
there
they
were
kept making
games that did it on the Switch.
And they
It's
kept
not
making a
many,
big
and none
deal
from
about how
Nintendo.
they kept making a big deal about how fast the new cartridges and stuff are, which is fine, except for we're not using those cartridges, right?
Nice shot.
Because we're doing digital downloads of games now or something. Yeah. They're making it confusing. Some of these questions we're not going to get answers to until the actual damn thing comes out. But yeah, that whole thing was kind of wacky, right? But yeah, dude, the $80 price tag, I didn't think. I'm like you. I know that Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to cost $100 or whatever else. Like I know where it's going. I know the system hardware is going up. Asking for a $300 Switch 2 is. I get why that's absurd for whatever it is. I was not prepared for how bad the sticker shock would hit.
Well, this was. If it hadn't been them, it would have been somebody else. Even
Yeah,
if it
but
hadn't been
when
Grand Theft
Sony
Auto.
announced that the PlayStation 5 Pro was $800, I went, okay. I understood where that was coming from because it's PlayStation. I understood why the Microsoft Xbox costs $500 the way that it does, right? Like, I did all that stuff. And then you're talking about a PlayStation 4, essentially. That's what the Switch 2 is.
You can't compare it that way. It's a handheld. It has a screen. PlayStation 4 has to have a TV. Has to have other things. It's not
Yeah,
an
but
apples to apples comparison.
So if my wife, and this is the other thing, you said this to me this week when we were talking about this. You said, look, man, based on the way that the cost of everything's going, the tariffs, we talked about that a little bit already, the way that some things are going, like,
Nice shot.
if you didn't think it was going to go up, then you're crazy, right? And I
It
understand
was
all
always
that.
going this way.
I do understand that. But you said NVIDIA has already done this to us, right?
And keep in mind, that's NVIDIA hardware in the Switch 1 and the Switch 2.
Right. And I said
wouldn't
to
doubt that
you,
the Switch 1 goes.
so my counter to that was when my wife walks into the back of a Target or a Walmart or wherever, right?
It's way too under. Well, you're not.
Yeah, you still made it. So when my wife walks into a Target or Walmart or whatever, she doesn't even know what NVIDIA is.
Right.
She's just going to see a $450 system sitting next to a $500 PlayStation and go, what the fuck?
That's where you're wrong. She's gonna walk into Walmart in 7 months and she's gonna see a $700 PlayStation, a $500 Switch 2, and a $350 Switch 1. And she's gonna think, you know what? I should get a Switch 1 because I can't afford a Switch 2 and
Okay.
a PlayStation 5.
So we're going to come back to this question later
this
on.
is the point. Is you're not again. It's not one thing.
If it's going to be $700,
every.
well, okay. So if the PlayStation is going to be $700 in the long run, that makes sense. Okay, I get where you're coming with that. But this was what I kicked in with this, and
This
Anybody
whole-
who's watching the stream right now, you can tell me I'm crazy, or you can tell me that, holy shit, Trisket said something profound right here. I don't know. I'm not even kidding you. My thought, and we're gonna come back to this the more we talk about the Switch 2, okay? My thought was, how would I not just be better playing Castlevania 2, Metroid Prime Remaster, or the original one, and Luigi's Mansion, which are like 3 of my favorite games? And pick whatever Zelda game you want to play I already own. How would I not be better just playing everything I already own and getting out of video games altogether? If this is the economy and ecology of all video games at this point, fucking get me out.
So here's another.
That was the thing that I kept thinking the more I kept seeing information about this. I was like, I'm done with video games all the way around. I will never play a new video game ever again. That's what I kept thinking. And there's a part of me that, you know, like, I get the whole you identify as a gamer, you do whatever. I've been streaming forever. I've been playing video games forever. I've been working in game stores and game companies and doing, like, games are a big part of who I am and what I do and all of that good stuff, right? Like, I'm all about that. Like, for me to be sitting there watching this thing thinking, I need to be done with this altogether, kind of freaked me out. Kind of flipped me the fuck out.
So this is why I wish we'd watched this trailer. For once, I agreed 100%. Kind of blew my mind because I don't like his take a lot of the time. Watching the Land show, good old Linus.
Good old Linus.
Yeah, and you know what he said? He's like, because he's like, the sticker shock is insane, just like everybody else. Everybody,
The sticker shock is
the
insane.
sticker shock hits you hard.
And I was expecting
then
it to
you do
wear
the math
off.
on it.
Yeah, then you do the math. I do that.
And what's the math on it?
I'm not an idiot.
No. The math on it is, if you're buying books, especially physical, you're getting fucked in the ass. And even digital, books are still, like, if you're talking per hour investment,
Dude, books are
nothing-
expensive.
nothing is as cheap as gaming from a cost standpoint. Because even if all you do is buy Mario Kart 8 and all you play is Mario Kart 8, if you play it for 50 hours, you more than, it goes down to like $2 an hour, $1 an hour of game time. If you want to go play golf, how much is 2 hours of golf? You've been to Top Golf. Tell me how much 2 hours of golf is.
The Top Golf, it's probably $60.
Yeah, $60. How much is 2 hours of golf on this?
Hey! I went to a 3-hour hockey game the other night because my daughter wanted to. Those tickets cost me $130.
Yeah.
And that was not a pro game. That was a ECHL game. That was a minor league game.
So let me put it this way.
We've been looking for Bees tickets to go to the new baseball stadium, and they're like $150 for all 4 of us to go. Yeah. They actually built the new stadium specifically so they could charge more for like box seats and other things like that.
They do.
That
Why
is
they built
100% what they do. God damn it! I hit that thing.
Does it actually deviate you? I thought
Yeah,
you just
it
got
does.
points.
It's like an obstacle. It hit that.
Oh,
So
shit.
yes, no. I understand that price for value thing. I've already gotten my money's
No.
worth.
Let's put it this way.
Like, I'm pissed at Monster Hunter, but I've definitely gotten my money's worth. Right?
No,
I'm
no.
not gonna argue with that.
If we were to price out the new PC at the new price and a copy of Monster Hunter,
Nice.
so let's
Ooh,
say.
speaking of which, are you gonna get a copy of Monster Hunter with your new PC?
They might give me one.
I thought most Nvidia things came with it now.
Maybe I'll get
I
the
don't know.
code. We can give it to them.
Yeah, we can give it to somebody. I'm all for that. Oh, get there! I missed that putt by a foot.
Nice touch.
No. I understand the sticker shock part of it, but there was a part of me that was like, look, if this is the way it's gonna be for everything, like, I need to be out of this.
The thing is, that's the whole thing about all of it you forget, is if we do price the PC and a copy of Monster Hunter. So we'll say right now, $7,100, we'll estimate. That's before tax. Not the final. Let's split it up to an even 7,500, right?
Right.
7,500.
Nice shot.
Okay.
7,500. How many hours of Monster Hunter does it take it to be worth cheaper than your golf or anything else?
7,500.
No.
Oh, cheaper than the golf?
Yeah. How many hours?
How much would I have to spend to pay to?
Just divide 7,500 by 50, and that's 50 hours. You gonna play Monster Hunter for 50 hours?
Yeah,
How much is 7,500 divided by 50?
I don't know.
Well, 75 divided by 5 is what? It's under 20. Obviously.
Somebody do the math out
15.
there. 7,500 divided by 50.
15. So it's 150. So
I'd have to pay 150 hours of Monster Hunter.
to make it worth the hourly price, or something like that. We'll do it in a second. We'll do the math.
Okay, apparently
It's
we're
not
gonna do
hard.
math today on our stream.
My point is
That's a nice putt, dude.
My point
Way
as
to
a
hit
whole is that the value for gaming even at extensively impressive prices, is still cheaper than you playing golf for a week, for 3 months probably, almost.
Ready?
It takes a while. I mean, 3 months of golf is what? How much are course fees, the rest of it? Like you said, $60, $70?
Hey, it's
How much
not
was that
cheaper.
Papa Roach concert?
Uh,
Nice shot.
Then I do want to know. That's kind of the point. $400. $400 one concert. That's one night.
we were
that you
there
got-
from 7 o'clock until 11:30.
and that's the Switch 2 price practically for one concert for 2 hours, 3 hours,
Yeah,
4
three
hours.
and a half.
Did you buy drinks while you're there? Did you get
Yes.
concessions?
We didn't buy
How much
concessions.
was parking?
There was no parking charge, but there was a merch charge. He spent $150+ on shirts and hats and stuff. $123. Okay, so $125 on that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, while the sticker shock hits hard, and there's no denying that at all, it's still light years cheaper than almost every other hobby. How much is the movie right now? When's the last time you went and saw a movie? Tell me how much they are.
It was like $40 or $50 the last time we went to a movie. I understand what you're saying, okay?
Ah, you piece
But
of
let's
shit.
not. So those kind of feel to me like an apples to oranges comparison
It's
because
still entertainment.
I get that it's still entertainment, but it's not video games, right? If I want to go, okay, so now let's compare it that way. If I want to go buy a PlayStation 4 right now, which has no value in the market for whatever it is that's going on, and I want to buy a decent video game, Monster Hunter World, and I want to play that, I'm going to get the same experience, and I'm going to get it for $100. I'm not going to get it for what they're asking for now. Now, I understand early adopter tax is a thing, and if you want to be on the cutting edge of whatever it is that's going on, you got to pay for that. I'm not discounting any of that because this is the new stuff. But even before, if you went on day one for a PlayStation 4, you weren't anywhere near this.
Come on, Choops.
No, it's going to stop.
No.
You lucky bastard.
Bare ground.
I don't even know how it's like to hit on.
And I get that it's going up and I do that stuff, but my question isn't so much about like the
trying to hit
value
back
for
on the
money and whatever it is. It's that there's no value in it for me anymore. He's got to get out of this.
The worst part is
Dude.
this is only the beginning.
I know this is only the
No, no, no.
beginning.
How much was your iPhone?
Way too much. You made the comparison this week that this is like an iPhone. This is an iterative version. Think of the Switch like an iPhone. And I got to tell you, dude, don't think of the Switch like an iPhone because there's not that many people who walk into a place and pay $800, $900, $1,000 for
They're
an iPhone.
happy with indentured servitude for life. I
Yes,
think, a
they
monthly
are.
fee.
They are.
For how much is it now? For the phone. I'm not talking about.
I don't know. They're
not
like
the
11.
phone bill.
They're like
charging you what?
They're $1,000, $1,100.
No, no. What part of the monthly fee is the phone?
I was like $5.
$5.
Actually, I don't even think mine has a charge in it.
Mine, no, yours is
Then it's subsidized. But you know that they're
It is
paying,
subsidized,
They're
but that's
paying
what I'm
full
saying.
price to Apple and then AT&T or whoever, charging you X amount to do it.
Yeah, and,
Nobody escapes the cost.
and Microsoft did that before. Microsoft was doing that plan where if you pay for Xbox Live or the Game Pass service for like 2 years, you can get the Xbox for like $50.
Or Game Pass is an alternative.
But that's what it is. It's a service thing, right? So if Nintendo put out a Switch that included the online service and you paid $10 a month for everything, you'd pay it off and whatever's going on, and they'd still make their money for whatever. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about the phone ecosystem here. Okay?
Nice shot.
We're not even close to talking about a phone ecosystem. We're talking about having to go out and drop all this money. And in an apples to apples comparison, it seems insane.
It seems insane, and then you realize how much you're blowing on everything else, and it's still cheap.
Okay, then so that's why I feel this way. So my feeling is that I should crawl into a hole and not be a part of this anymore. And you're saying, well, that's the right feeling, then.
I'm saying that you were already in the hole, and you just apparently haven't recognized.
Well, I'm about to climb out of the hole and go jump into a dark cave and not be a part of it anymore. That's the difference. Like, the more I watched about the Switch 2 presentation, the more I kept thinking, and we'll come back to it again, like at the end of talking about the Switch 2, I kept thinking I should be out on video games altogether. Like, I should just play what I have and be happy with that and be fucking done
A
with
lot
this
of people
shit.
have said, I have my backlog to go through, and that's a fair thing.
Yeah. I was actually thinking that's actually one of the things I was going to mention. We were just talking about Mario Kart. I was going to say, you know what it actually made me do? Is it made me want to go play Mario Kart 8 and try and justify and find a reason why the next one would cost $80 out the door, right? There's a part of me that wants to... Oh, man, I wasn't even paying attention when I hit that shot. I fucked myself so bad. There's a part of me that wants to go play Mario Kart 8 and just be like, okay, why don't I just play this, right? because I don't like playing Mario Kart now. Why don't I get reacquainted with it, find some people to play it with casually, and stop dealing with the people who think that it's, you know, a WWE event to go like dunk on everyone and play Mario Kart, right? Get my kids together and play it. Maybe get my kids together and play Mario Party or something, right? I had that thought a lot during this presentation. Not just about Mario Kart, but about most of the games they showed. So let's talk about the next thing that they showed on the Switch 2, okay? If you own a game, and I actually thought a lot about this after
Again,
we
the
talked
game
about
sharing thing is actually a win,
the game sharing thing happens on the Switch 1 and the Switch 2, so that's not a thing.
but it's still a win.
If you own a game from the Switch 1, you will have to pay an upgrade price to play it on the Switch 2. The Switch 2 version of it is what they make it sound like.
You can buy it, or it comes with Nintendo Switch Online for
No. The only games that come with Nintendo Switch Online are Zelda Breath of the Wild and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. If you have a Nintendo Switch Online membership and you get a Switch 2, what will happen is your digital games, or if you put the cartridge into your Switch 2, it will upgrade them to a higher frame rate and better resolution. They're not better games, they're just the hardware upscaling.
Yeah.
Which the PC does for free, which pisses me off to no end in its own, right? But
Free's kind of a bit of a loose term there. I'd like to
yeah,
point out.
maybe. But yes. So if you have a Nintendo Switch Online membership,
Also, it is free for a lot of things like Odyssey and lesser titles.
you will get an upgrade. You will have to pay for the upgrade.
You only have to pay for the upgrade for specific titles.
So the one that they showed was Mario Party Jamboree, which they're adding a whole new expansion and game mode to. And they're adding a whole new expansion to Kirby as well, which makes it basically paying for an expansion, and I understand that. But in Zelda's case, they're not adding anything to it. That Zelda Notes shit that they were talking about is not real.
Zelda maps.
Yeah, Zelda Mats. That's not a real upgrade. That's not a thing. You know what we used to do, Kit? I actually laughed about this when I saw it. I was like, you know what we used to do? We used to just go buy a notebook, do it ourselves. Like, you can write down the path on your phone and do whatever, and maybe it'll record. It'll give you like a map, it's like a GPS tracker for Zelda. I was like, okay, that's not really a thing. I don't really care about that. Maybe some people do. That's great. Go out, buy your upgrade. Okay. That's not my problem with it. My problem with it is that to do the upgrade that they're talking about, DLSS, like that kind of upgrade, you're going to have to pay to get access to that upgrade. And very specifically, the next question I had was, how much is it? So if I don't have the Nintendo Switch Online, which by the way, they didn't say if it would come with the basic membership or the upgraded membership. They didn't say which one would include the Zelda. So you may have to pay the $80 for a single membership, or for a family membership, or $50 for a single membership in order to get that. That's first. At plus 14? Good job, boy. So that's a question I have. And it's going to vary, because I bet you dollars to pesos, that Mario Party upgrade is going to cost $30. I bet the Zelda ones are going to cost $20. And I bet the Mario Odyssey one, which isn't going to include anything, but just going to do the frame rate stuff, I bet that'll still cost $10.
Hey, how much do you think Half-Life RTX costs?
0.
Is it?
Yeah.
Half-Life 2 RTX is 0.
Yes. It's just out there. Doesn't cost anything. It's, hey, we did this. Check it out.
You're saying they just give out Half-Life 2 for free now?
Yeah.
Well, the one that was released already was just a demo of Ravenholm and the rest of it.
Right.
But you're saying the Quake one and the rest of them, Quake RTX, was free?
It was.
It was a free upgrade.
If I owned Quake 2, and they gave me Quake 2's upgrade for free. Yes.
How much is Quake 2 now?
$10. That's for somebody who doesn't own it.
What the fuck?
We bought it for Kit for like $4 the week that they released it on like Green Man Gaming, and he got the upgrade. So we bought the old edition and got the upgrade. Yeah, when looking at the face of that stuff, like that seems a little disingenuous, right?
Not really. You don't think it costs money to develop things, then you're kind of mad.
No, I do think it costs money to develop things, but I think they already got their money for developing it.
Then they
Dropping this into DLSS and then expecting to be able to make something because somebody else made technology is kind of disingenuous.
it still requires high-res textures. It still requires programming. If you don't think it costs some man-hours to develop it, then you're insane. Whether or not it's worth that value, that's up to the individual purchaser. But if you think that everything deserves a free HD
No, I already put it
pack,
into the.
then you're insane.
No, I disagree with that entirely.
I think they could have just ported Zelda over to the Switch 2, or just left the Switch 1 version up on the store.
Now-
it's fine.
That is an argument.
And the game is already $70, so if it's $80 with the new upgrade, which is what they said it is for you to buy it on the Switch 2, it's a $10
No,
upgrade.
that's what Mario Kart is to buy on the Switch too. We don't know
They
that.
did say it for Zelda.
They said Tears of the Kingdom, the new version of it's going to be 80 bucks.
if you buy it fresh on the Switch.
Oh
2,
my God,
which means it's a $10 upgrade.
That's not better.
A $10 upgrade.
It's not going to be a $10 upgrade. It's going to be a $20 upgrade for me because I already own it.
It's gonna be a $10 upgrade because it's only $10 difference.
We don't know how much it costs. That's the thing.
It's gonna just be they wouldn't change it because if it's
Yes, they would.
It's $70 right now for Tears already. That's the point. They're not gonna charge 80, 20 for the
90?
upgrade pack.
Yeah, they would.
Why would they charge more for it?
Because they think it's worth that. And again, they're not giving you anything for it. They're just putting it through a DLSS filter. Which, by the way, I get. It is.
There's more to it than just that, and it still requires programming. You can say all you want that, they have to do nothing. They just, flip a box. But at the end of the day, it does take actual development. It's not instantaneous, easy shit.
That actually brings me to the next point. I understand where it's not instantaneous and easy shit because there's a list that came out after the presentation of all the Switch 1 games that don't work on it.
Yeah, anything new about that you're thinking matters?
Well, yeah, because if you're putting a fucking cartridge into the system and you're working with whatever it is that's going on, like, you want to tell me this is so wildly different than the Switch 1 that it's not going to be compatible with 50% of their games?
I don't understand this answer.
Nice approach.
Yeah.
No, every system ever has had compatibility issues.
I understand that, but there's a difference between compatibility issues because of, let's say, an accessory or something. Like if Labo doesn't work because of the cardboard or something. Ring Fit doesn't work because of the accessory. Switch 2 needs something more than the Switch 1 Joy-Cons have. That's something different than if I put Mario Odyssey in my system, it don't fucking run. Without an upgrade, that's a different problem. Now, I use Mario Odyssey there, but that's not a game on the list. But there are games like that on the list,
Nice shot.
which is also somewhat annoying.
Well, those publishers could fix it.
Well, some of it's first party.
First party ones are all hardware related.
Yeah, plus.
Yeah, good job, kid. So again, we're now looking at...
How did you get that one hole, I guess?
Yeah, it was that one hole. You just kept whacking at that cliff. So we went 9 shots into that hole anyway.
What do you want to eat and when? That's a good question.
We can eat whenever you want.
So when did you eat? Better question.
Like a long time ago. It was like 10. Okay. But that makes sense, right? So now we're talking about an inconsistent experience between the two systems, which is understandable.
Backwards
It happens.
compatibility was never guaranteed.
That's right. Hey, man, that's great. PlayStation paved the way for all of us to be frustrated today. Great. Still doesn't make it less frustrating.
And all of those could be fixed by launch.
Now, I had another real question about it too, and this is in the same discussion of compatibility back and forth. Dude, I'm down for just like sandwiches or something.
We had sandwiches last weekend.
Did we?
We had Firehouse.
Was that last weekend?
Huh?
I don't know. Well, you pick. I don't care. So they show Metroid Prime 4. Okay.
All right.
Metroid Prime 4 has its 120 FPS and 1080p mode. It
I'm
has
amazed
its...
they even went that far, honestly. If there was ever a company that hates to put you into the menu and change settings, it's Nintendo.
Yes, but they actually said it does that. Like they specifically said that on screen.
I realize they do, but at the same time, they don't want you to have to go into the menu.
Okay, so we're talking about the backwards compatibility part of this. There is going to be a Switch version and a Switch 2 version of Metroid Prime 4. The Switch 2 version of Metroid Prime 4 has 2 settings. It can either run at 4K at 60 FPS, or it can run at 1080p and run at 120 FPS. I personally think that the 120 FPS...
further if docked or not.
What?
It's actually further different if docked or not.
Actually, they said it was the same
I thought
undocked.
it was 720p at docked. For
No,
the 120 FPS one.
the 120
Not
FPS one...
Sorry, handheld at 720p, I thought.
No, I
But
thought it's
120
1080p at 120 FPS. I think is what it said. It may be. It may not be. It may be 720.
They had to add a fan to the dock, which is fascinating.
Yeah, I thought
Actually,
that was...
a good thing, considering, I mean, that proves the point more than anything.
I know. The fan to the dock was a nice addition. Okay, they also said that there's going to be a Switch 1 version of Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, no different than before. Maybe they'll give you an upgrade path.
So this was a previous experience I had with Nintendo stuff back in the day. On the 3DS, the original 3DS, when Pokemon Sun and Moon came out, we got it for my kids. We put it into their systems. They'd come up, Dad, help me with Pokemon. And the game was almost unplayable on the old hardware. It was so bad, in fact, that I went out and traded their systems in and paid $100 or something like that to upgrade them to the new 3DSs because it was really not designed to run well on the old one. I am absolutely terrified that Metroid Prime 4 running on the old Switch is going to be that same way.
And this, I don't understand why you think this is a giant concern, considering this has happened every console from PS1 to PS3.
The GameCube version of Twilight Princess and the Wii version of Twilight Princess were not different, other than they were mirror flipped. You were not experiencing gameplay issues at that level.
No, and every version of Madden that came out didn't have a whole lot of issues either.
Yeah.
But if you're saying that it wasn't a concern ever, then I think you're also kind of mad.
It's not that it wasn't a concern ever.
Why do
It's
you
been a
think
concern
this
for
is
them.
more of a concern now? They're still one of the better developers as far as, day one releases.
Okay.
Requiring 90%
I can
patch.
tell you why. I can tell you why, because Nintendo's never gone out in front of fucking me with an $80 price tag and trying to fuck me with the rest of the shit they're doing with this system. They've never been coy about their information for what's going on and hide it behind websites and everything else. It's always been in the presentation. They've always been upfront about what they're doing. They've always been the best of us, is what it really comes down
I
to.
really don't think they were hiding it by putting it on our website. You looked at 5 minutes after you watched the video.
Yeah. By not
Especially
putting it into the
months
presentation.
in advance before launch. It's
By
not
not
like
putting it into the
it was
presentation.
in stores and you had to go there and got shocked by the sticker when you walked into the Walmart. It's 4 months after.
Dude, I'm telling you.
It sounds naive as
Oh,
shit.
okay, so no, that's not naive.
It is, because that price was right there. You're just like, oh, this is good. Oh my god.
Oh, cool. So the compatibility thing was just right up front. No, that took like 3 days for them to work out because other people started reporting it.
And it's
And then all
still
of a sudden
not
they're like,
launched
fine,
yet.
we'll
We
talk
have
about it.
months to talk
Fine,
about
we'll
it.
talk about it.
Months for
Fine, we'll
patches,
talk about it.
months for fixes.
Every time somebody would bring something else up, they would go, fine, we'll talk about it. And then they would tell you what
I
it
would
is.
say from their perspective, considering how much historically they don't tell us shit, this has probably been the most open launch they've ever had, and it's not even launched yet.
And this still seems skeevy to me.
And that's kind of why I think that you're insane or forgetful, because this is their most open ever. From a
I
company
disagree
never
with that
tells us
entirely.
shit.
I disagree with that entirely. When the Wii came out, like when they did the announcement for the when they did the announcement for the Switch, it was all up front.
Shit, they didn't even give us hardware specs for the
I know they didn't give us hardware specs for the Wii because hardware specs didn't matter for the Wii. They intentionally did that.
No, yeah, they go out of their way to never tell us. That's kind
Right.
of the point.
So now
they give us details on specs.
Now they're
hardware,
telling us
performance,
halfway because
supports
they're
DLSS, supports this. Like they
Again.
never really go into specs.
again they're doing it halfway now. Look, you either go the whole distance and be what everybody else is doing.
They're slow to evolve. They're not
yeah,
going
but
to
they're
step
still,
up to
They
front.
still look like they're hiding shit right
They step forward, you complain. They stay still, that you complain.
now.
There's no
that's
winning
not
for
the
them.
case at all. That's not the case at all. Did you want to go watch the Switch reveal and go, okay, I got this.
Told us even less.
And then come back to this and watch this and go, why the fuck is this? My favorite part of the Switch 2 reveal, by the way, was them praising themselves for their 2004 Skype technology that they threw onto the fucking machine. And my favorite thing, so for those of you who didn't see the presentation, what they did was they put on, there's a video chat now. You can buy a camera. Ooh, it was really great. They put a USB port on the top of the system so that you can charge it in handheld mode up there or use a camera. Something should have been done in the last system. But you can now video chat with other people. And when that person would like share their video, it was running at like 3 FPS. It seriously looked like you were playing World of Warcraft with a video camera on, pointed at your monitor, sharing it with people on TeamSpeak, which is fucking hilarious, or Skype. Yeah, like I know, but that's what it looked like. I actually showed a couple guys at work. I said this was their big reveal here, and I joked, but I said it wasn't their big reveal. But that
You know the most
technology,
hilarious thing about that? You know what everybody else's point of view was? What? They said for once somebody didn't show us that looking perfect, so when we got it, it looked like shit. They showed it what it would actually look like. And yet, no matter what they do, they'll complain.
no, that's dude, that sucks.
It's still better
Okay,
than
wait,
nothing.
wait. It's
You're
better
telling-
than nothing? No, it's not.
So what you have to do on a PlayStation is what? Log into Discord, use a third-party app that isn't controlled by Sony, no parental controls, anything else.
You don't have to.
We're saying an apples-to-apples comparison.
Yeah,
here. Now
they
you're
have
like,
their-
oh, they don't have to connect to anything at
Okay,
all.
no, hold on.
Look,
No,
we're
they
talking
do.
about
And on the
video
PlayStation.
chat.
Okay, on video chat, you don't have to log into Discord. It's not. It is useful. It is connected if you want to use it. But they have their own proprietary version of video chat that runs at 1080p and actually uses a decent camera and actually looks like it, was developed by somebody who understands what the internet is. And Nintendo put something out there that looks like it's from 2007.
And I bet it doesn't impact the performance of whatever you're doing because they reserve space.
I would really hope that me locally playing Mario Kart on my system would not be impacted by me being in an internet chat room at the same time in the year 2025 of our Lord.
I think that madness.
You don't think so? Like that was really hilarious, dude.
I
Like, come
think-
on.
To me, it looked good.
The video chat?
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Their last version of voice chat was you had to get on your phone in order to chat with people while you were playing Splatoon 3. That was their answer, which was, again, the dumbest fucking thing ever. But this is still half-assed, which is why I laughed at it. And everybody I showed it to went, really? Like, that's what they're touting on all of this? And that's what the whole thing kind of felt like. It kind of felt like it continued to be half-assed for what was going on.
Yo, who was that? Us?
Yeah, that was hilarious.
That one is stupid. There's no denying that one. But the video chat, like, you expect them to be Zoom?
No.
I expect them to be better than Zoom.
See? I expect them to be better than Zoom. A company that is the dinosaur of gaming because they're so slow to evolve. Because they
I'm
don't
sorry, you
like to
said
take
Zoom. I
risks.
meant Skype. They just discontinued Skype, right?
What's
Yeah,
about the
Microsoft just grandfathered Skype out of existence, so that's no longer there.
They grandfathered
It-
Skype
you know
out.
what? I don't expect them to be enterprise Zoom that you use for business meetings or whatever else it is. But a basic video chat, you think they can't come up with what Discord does? Hell, I got one for you. Why don't you just integrate Discord and beat the middleman, let them do it?
Because they're never going to give control to a third party. Because at the end of the day, the difference is with Nintendo, you're not going to be swinging your dick on cam. For
Which
other
was
kids to
the
look at.
only Nintendo thing I saw in that, and the thing that I actually did like about the video thing was that it is all completely still tied into their parental controls,
As it has.
as it has to be for Nintendo. I understood that part of it, but dude, no, come on, man.
You are setting their bar way too high.
No, I'm setting the bar for 2010.
Oh, you're setting the bar
Yeah.
for 2020.
No, I'm
which
not.
is still old.
My bad. 5 years ago, technology.
And again, Nintendo is the slowest to evolve, and you know this. That's the worst part. You know how slow they are. And now you're like, they need to be Sony level quality.
I
Where
did.
is your fucking brain? man?
I'm saying that everybody else did this 15 years ago.
Yeah, and they're the slowest to evolve, and you know it. Again, look how long their marketing department took to
I'm
catch
sorry.
up.
I said 15.
You know
I meant 25. I meant
That's
25.
why I think it's kind of insane. You know this is them.
that
This is
in the
who they
year
are. This is who they've
2025?
always been.
Okay, so hang on a second. So what you're telling me, and I've heard the reports of this, is that in 2020, when the pandemic happened and Nintendo went home, because they did go home, and they had to use Zoom to do all their development, do everything else, they didn't learn anything during that fucking experience?
So-
Apparently not.
Again, you know them. Man.
It's not like they weren't
on YouTube.
exposed to it.
Give an idea.
See, that's why it was so silly to me, because everybody's been exposed to it
And
this
at the
point.
same time, if you think that they're going to change when they're slow to evolve because that's the way they've always been and always have been, then you're mad.
Then why do it at all?
What do you mean, why do it at all? They're business.
Oh, because we need to do it because everybody else is doing it, but we're going to do it half-assed
No,
because
I
we
think
can't do it
they're
the way
trying
everybody else
to-
is doing it?
I think that they're trying to build multiplayer in the modern era the most classic way they can. I don't know that they're going to
At
succeed at
3
it,
FPS.
but they are trying to do it, which I like. That's why I said it could work and bring back what I'm going to call remote couch play. That's what we'll call it.
That's
They
what they
could pull
want.
that off. That is what they want. And I'd point out that's what everybody else failed at.
Okay, so let them do it.
And if it succeeds, and if
So
it
why
works,
put this in at all?
I'm saying remote couch play with the camera and the zoom thing.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the couch play. Just go to your friend's house and do it. It's better off than being
And
online.
lots of people have friends that are, not in the same city, not in the same state. We don't live in 2000. We don't live in
And so
1998 anymore.
okay, so are those people going to be on Discord or are they going to be on Nintendo's new video chat?
Maybe they had their friends video chat so they can play their game. That's kind of the whole idea.
At this point, is that
And
really?
more importantly, let's not forget the most important point about the Switch. Do you know what the whole point is there? Not all those people have a PC. Not all those people have Discord. They all have a phone.
Yes,
I'll grant
and
you that.
Discord
They
works
all
on
have
their
a phone. And if you can just have it connected right there and have your friends in your app,
That's my.
it's still a self-contained ecosystem.
I know, but
which is
that's
what
still
Nintendo will
my
always
biggest
do.
gripe about the PlayStation integration with Discord is it requires you to use your phone. I fucking hate that.
And
But-
this is the point. It's
or
a
it
self.
requires you to use a PC. You can't do it on the
No.
phone.
They used to. They fixed it.
Did they? Well, okay, it used to. So
We
there
tried
you go.
Burger Slut Choops.
Oh, what?
Burger Slut.
SLUT. It's always
There you
been called Burger Slut.
Yeah. So
The name, Choops.
yeah. So
Oh, it's
again,
really good.
there are
See?
so many things that happened during this, and then they started letting all the third-party people go. And this is where I got I got a little frustrated with it based on what it is that's going on.
I need to go to the store.
Yeah, I like the concept of video chat, but that chat looks like 2000 era dial-up web chat. That's my problem with it. This is the year of our Lord 2025. Like, fucking get with the program.
Barbecue bacon, onion ring.
The burger has
And don't get me wrong, like Black Wolf, we could do it right now, right? Like if you wanted to join us to play Mario Golf, we'd be doing that right now.
The
Right.
virtual brand. So
We did it with fucking every other game out there. Like nobody uses the in-game chat in Monster Hunter. Like that's just how that goes. But even
What's wrong
moving
with
on
Culver?
past that,
I've had a reason.
Culver's is right across the street.
we could do this fancy place that your old man don't like.
I don't even know what it is.
It was the fact that it was a Dutch crunch roll, bourbon caramelized.
Oh
onions,
yeah, okay, look.
garlic herb butter, provolone, and herb orange.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like
That
any,
doesn't sound terrible.
yeah, dude, it sounds like
I mean, I like a good French.
it sounds like a 25-year-old Googled some words. A 25-year-old Googled some
I've
words.
French chips from Arby's recently. Only one like around here. And everyone's
Okay.
Like, "What do you think?"
Now hang on a second. This
So the tastes diverge.
yeah,
He's
apparently.
like, oh, it sounds good. And you're like, I don't need some 25-year-old. You went to some hipster cafe once. And
yeah.
decided to fucking make
Look,
garlic ale.
I want to make a French dip. Okay, what'd you get? I got 2 pieces of bread, some roast beef, and some au jus. Yo, I didn't get a potato bun with a brioche cover that has a slight hint of a Parmesan cheese in the middle of it. I got a roll.
It's, it's
are you
still
fucking
just as
kidding me?
elitist to say I had a hoagie.
Okay, look, for me to say I got a piece of Wonder Bread and did it, that's fine. I got a piece of white bread and did it versus the eggs and flour were naturally raised and mixed in a toxic-free environment. Like, fuck you. Like, seriously?
People care about toxic.
Yeah,
food,
because
right?
we spend more time, instead of making the food good, describing the food good. Let's do that. Let's do that for real.
We'll see how it is, though. You can
We
try
spend
it.
more time describing the
No,
food
yeah,
good
yeah,
instead of
PB&J
making the
burger.
food
Do
good.
you want the PB&J burger?
Yeah,
No.
I bet you would love it.
No.
How about a potato bun?
Oh my god. Can I just
Potato buns are pretty
get a
common.
fucking hamburger?
This is a hamburger. Tomato, lettuce,
Marinated
pickle.
tomato, crisp iceberg lettuce, pickles, onions, potato bun,
Sauce.
stack sauce. Why don't they talk about the pickles and how they raise the cucumbers in a fucking vegan-free environment or some shit? I don't know. Like, I don't need that. Dude,
Eating them until.
can I just get a burger?
Parmesan truffle
Oh my
fries.
god, yeah,
We're
let's
on the podcast.
Parmesan truffle oil.
We're not
And the-
fine, guys.
Okay, but how do you get sub
can't get a-
beer battered onion rings? Either they're beer battered onion rings or they're not. They're just
You're
battered onion
subbing
rings.
fries for onion rings. That's
Oh,
why
is that
it's
what
sub.
it is? Okay, it's a
It's
substitution.
substitution.
Okay, okay. I feel better now because I was like, what is sub beer battered onion rings?
Yeah. Would you like tempura cauliflower?
Yeah.
They
Like,
use
it's
Parsons
just
on it.
fried cauliflower.
Yeah, because, okay, so with my burger, I want tempura cauliflower.
Again, it's the healthy
Seriously?
option, and by healthy,
A
I mean
healthier option.
it's,
Okay.
it is deep fried cauliflower. I mean, it's loosely healthy.
With tempura.
Do we understand what I'm
Do you
saying?
want the burger
now?
here or no? I mean, we'll take off the marinated tomato, obviously.
Yeah.
You want medium well or well done?
Answer
Medium.
that properly.
Yeah, medium well.
Medium well.
Oh my god.
You want regular fries or waffle fries?
Are they regular fries or are they beer
It said
battered,
regular.
vegan raised, free range potatoes? I don't.
The potatoes were able to.
Tell you what, you watched that
Really?
last week tonight on chicken eggs, and at that point, I'll tell you,
I haven't watched
the
anything.
pasture raised looks a little bit better than.
Yeah.
I was about to say the egg one. Did you never show you the Japanese one? Here, God. we'll do
No,
that.
it's fine. Let's get through this.
No, you gotta see the Japanese.
Let's get through this. Can we order some fucking food, please? And
Choops,
get
what do you want? French dip.
order stack 571 whiskey sour burger time thing. They should just make a place called Burger Time, and then honestly.
You have one burger.
No. When they make your burger, they should have an animation of the guy running by and dropping the top of the bun, then dropping.
French dip.
Yeah, like like the video game Burger Time. Like that would be fucking cool. I would actually patronize that place, regardless of what they describe
Regular
their food
waffle. Onion rings.
I want. Yeah. Give me the half.
as. I want chicken nuggets, cheeseburgers, and
Parmesan
tater
truffle
tots.
fries.
See, I know what all of
I
that
mean-
means.
No.
I've had Parmesan fries.
I don't
No,
like
Really?
Oh my god.
Thing. It's a quiet taste.
See, that's what I'm and a shake.
Yeah, I
know.
know.
Okay, see, okay, so hang on. So Ivy says I want chicken nuggets, cheeseburgers, and tater tots and a shake. I know what all of that means. Okay. Go up there. A Diamond Knot root beer? What the fuck is that?
Diamond Knot is the brand, dumbass. Like Sioux City root beer, like Mug root beer.
Okay, so
If it said Mug
if
root
it's an
beer,
A&W root beer, I'd be like, all right, cool. Diamond Knot root beer?
different brand.
I guess. Okay.
Maybe it's homemade, Dad.
Yeah, maybe it is.
If it was
Maybe they-
homemade, let me tell you, it would have said Craft House root beer. So that's where you're on wrong. Diamond Knot to me is normal because it's just a brand. It's not Craft House. And I'd point out that I like Craft House root beer when I go to the pie because they make their own
Craft House root
that
beer.
you can get in it. Yeah,
Yes,
you can
they
buy
do.
a jug of it. I've
They
bought
do.
thousands of jugs of it.
Yeah. Thousands of
Not
jugs?
thousands,
Okay.
probably 100 though
Yeah, okay.
over the years. So there's the French tip. I'm gonna
Forgot
go.
to get lunch. There's, yeah, order.
It turns into an argument.
I'm just
I
saying,
heated argument.
the fatted so bacon, bourbon, bacon slaw, bacon whiskey jam, with marinated tomato stacks. What the fuck, man? It's a burger.
You know what this reminds me of? Fucking Shake Shack.
Yeah, dude. That's why everybody loves that stuff.
No, people like Shake Shack because it's French every time.
This is what I'm saying. No, it's not. I've eaten there.
No, it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Yeah, let me
My bad.
rephrase.
My
It's
bad.
supposed to.
That's my bad.
It's not that it is.
All right. But yeah, like why can't things just stop being weird? Can we just do that?
I hate this. It's something that annoys the shit out of me.
Wait, which one?
When they don't have sauce, so I can order sauces.
Oh, you can't order sauce.
Lots of places don't do it, but
I mean,
and
you
we're
know,
gonna try one of these Diamond Knot root beers because boy is a
God
connoisseur of root beer. You
damn
never
it.
put those in the fridge either. Got you a whole thing of mug for months.
How come nothing ever fucking works, dude?
How none of them fucking works in this place, man?
Dude, will you shut the fuck up?
Will you shut the fuck up, Donnie?
I put the thing down, I get the cable, and it's stuck on 6 different things for no reason.
God did this to us, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I believe that is exactly what I was referencing right there. Yes.
He hasn't seen that movie either. Oh yeah, I was gonna show him that.
What, the eggs? I
No,
don't
no,
need
no.
the
Have you a valediction boil?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
No,
sure.
but the eggs. No, I can show you that one. It was.
No, I'm fine. We gotta finish talking about this shit.
What's that? What's that? Clickhole was mocking it. What are those fucks' names?
I have no idea.
What's the? It's the website. God damn it! I can't think of that idiot's name. Not Uncle Roger. That dipshit.
About to eat?
No, he used to work for. He started out doing those shit videos like "Have an American try this," and then he went to another company, and then he went to another one, and then he went to Japan, and he actually, it's one of those few times where you can see somebody has moved up in the world to a point.
You have to join the lobby.
I will as soon as I find this real quick.
All right, we ordered food. We've talked about part of the Switch 2 thing. Is now a good time to take a break? How long have we been doing this, just out of curiosity? Maybe not. All right, we'll play another round here. We're gonna keep playing the Mario Golf.
Troops, will you grab me a drink? There's a drink in the door.
What's up, man? Necros is hanging out. All right, let's get back to this, okay?
See, he's in this video. It's that dipshit again. Not him, the other one. See, it's him without the mustache. Anyway, I thought it was fascinating because he goes to see that guy, which everybody, there's like 50 videos of that guy now. Point is, he went to Japan and he got these $89 eggs. Not here, it was later in the video. And they do. And it's fascinating because you can tell the difference. And in the John Oliver video, it went over it a bit. Like, there's a difference between, based on what you feed the egg. So it doesn't, you can see it like there. He picks it up by the yolk. You couldn't do that with any egg you bought at the store here. It's because it's stronger because they actually feed it different.
That is
Also,
pretty cool.
you'll notice it's orange rather than yellow. diet affects what you eat.
I get all of that. That's fine.
I'm not saying that you have to buy fancy
Call it an egg.
shit, but
See,
it is an egg. I'm saying
that's
the
funny.
pasture raised versus the rest of it is a bit.
Okay, so what'd you order meat? I'm gonna tell you honestly, I don't even know what they ordered meat.
He got a regular burger with no tomato, no marinated tomato,
No marinated tomato.
and regular fries.
Was it on a potato bun or on
Yes.
like a potato?
Potato buns are pretty common.
Oh, so potato buns were the most normal thing.
No, I was about to say, potato buns are, I mean, everywhere other than Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, like, it's pretty standard.
Yeah,
Burger
let's go
Time,
with
I
it.
think was a potato bun.
I don't even know what they ordered me. Okay.
We got him a burger.
I got a burger.
It's
They're telling me I
American.
got a burger.
It's American.
You gotta join the room. Your day just got made. Your dad fixed your stream deck. Oh, very nice. Was there a short in it or something he was able to repair? That's cool. I like that. All right, we gotta get back to our Switch 2 conversation. All right. I know.
Never.
Oh God, man, I know. So we were talking about upgrades. We don't know what the pricing is going to be on the upgrades.
We think the pricing is going to be $10 at the minimum.
At the minimal, if they feel like it's an expansion for whatever, I still think it's going to go up to $30.
So here's the bad news. Because like I said, I don't see any of this as bad. Here's
Well-
the bad news.
Okay.
Potentially good, potentially bad. Let's use The Witcher 3 and
Ready up.
Hogwarts Legacy as an example. Hogwarts Legacy just got announced for the Switch 2. You'll notice Hogwarts Legacy already exists on the Switch 1
As a streaming game.
as a streaming game.
Yeah.
So what
Hey,
happens
that means
if,
Capcom's going to open the door to putting Resident Evil 2, 3, 7, 8, and all the other things.
what
we
if they
upgraded on the Switch
fix
2.
things like The Witcher 3, however, which had what I'm going to call GIMP edition? And how much are they going to charge for it?
Well, that's actually the next thing I was going to bring up. So they did a montage of video games that are coming. Cyberpunk 2077 is coming to the Switch 2. Elden Ring's coming to the Switch 2. And all of that stuff, like, he kept showing game
And
after game
how
after
old
game.
is Armor?
Armored Core, you were in the hospital. It's 2 years? 2-ish years?
I thought I bought it for you when I was home.
He bought it for me because of the whole
He beat Hollow.
Christmas thing, and I beat Hollow Knight.
I thought I was, maybe I wasn't here yet. I don't know. I can't remember the time. The point is
You were-
I was here.
Yeah, because you were at the new place where they doing recovery.
That's when it was.
That's when we made the joke.
That was during Christmas, sir.
No. It was before that. It was the summer before Christmas. And then at Christmas, he bought it for me for Christmas to deliver on his fucking promise that he didn't deliver.
Oh,
on the summer.
yeah. That one.
Yeah.
So, the point is what's the oldest, what hasn't come out on the Switch 1 because they thought it couldn't be done?
Resident Evil 2 and 3.
What's the oldest?
The oldest?
What things started coming out
The
that
Witcher
didn't
3,
go to Switch 2?
it's the
Witcher
PS4.
3 did come to.
Yeah, but it's not really.
I
Doom
know.
did too, but not like real Doom.
So Doom did, yeah, but they're also considered marvels because they took it portable
Yeah, they
in an
did.
era where there was nothing portable. And they could now fix it.
Still
I don't
cracks
think-
me up when they announced. They're like, "Yo, dog, guess what?" And I'm like, "What?" And they're like,
Do the hard one.
Street Fighter 6 is coming. I accidentally pushed the button. And I was like, cool, man. Like, that was the thing. So the Street Fighter 6, the Cyberpunk 2077, the Elden Ring announcements, the stuff that they put, FC football's coming to it, Madden football's coming to it. That stuff would have been exciting 4 years ago. It's not exciting now.
I say it's exciting in a different way.
Okay.
It's exciting in the way that, for once, third-party support is back where it should be.
I don't think I turned off the super shots. Just don't use them.
You can use them, I don't care.
No, I don't want to use them. I kind of just clicked through the thing to get the round started, so that's my bad.
But third-party support is apparently
Mine does
fixed, at least for the time being.
But it's not all third-party support, which I found to be very interesting. Like, it seems like just the biggest. So the one that. So I have recently, in recent times, become quite the hockey junkie. NHL 25 is not coming to it.
I'm not saying everything's going to come to it. And again,
I know, but it seems like they hedge their bets with this third-party
exclusives? No,
support. I know that's what they do.
no. Compared to before, this is not hedging bets. This is all in.
It doesn't feel like that.
Man,
NHL would be on that list, right? What other EA games are not there?
my point is if you
Jedi Outcast and Jedi Survivor would have been on.
compared to the game, man.
I understand compared to the GameCube. I get that, but
Like,
I'm
all
saying-
this is all in compared to where we have been for the last 20 years.
that
Since the goddamn PlayStation 1 launch.
it's not all in.
Compared to
I
the
just named
PlayStation
4
1 launch.
games that, or 3 games that should be there.
And there's 100 that got announced that aren't. Like, before, we didn't have shit.
Actually, it seems to me that the ones that got announced are all farm sims, but never mind. Just kidding. They're not all farm sims.
That was a couple of.
That was a couple of Nintendo Directs ago.
Yeah, that was there.
And so they're bringing Final Fantasy VII Integrate, and they said that they're working on the Final Fantasy VII remake project.
I'd have been more impressed by Square if they'd announced 16.
But they're not. Like, that's the whole thing. That's not all into me. 16 would have been on there.
Yeah, Square
Rebirth
isn't
would have been
all
on
in.
there.
Yeah, Square isn't all in on anything.
But that's the thing. Like, that's what I'm saying is it doesn't feel to me like all in. If EA was all in, both of those Star Wars games would have been on.
My point is it appears to have a lot more third-party support than before. Why? Because they all did well on the Switch. With what they
5
did
games
bring.
doth not make a lot of third-party
It
support.
wasn't 5. They announced like 50. Mind you, most of them already exist elsewhere. I'm not denying it.
So a lot of companies, like the guy who said he's making Enter the Gungeon 2, you're like,
Ready?
okay,
Well,
but that would have come to the Switch.
Exclusives are dead, man. Like, if you're talking exclusives, that doesn't exist.
Yeah, but it's like we're moving Civ 7 to the Switch 2, and you're like, okay. Hey, Borderlands 4 is going to come to the Switch 2. You're like, okay.
That one's still fairly notable. Did 3 come to the Switch?
Yes.
It actually did.
Yeah, I thought they did that, the 1, 2, 3 combo pack thing. Did that not
Not on
include
the
3?
Switch.
Oh, you're right. It didn't have 3. Okay. All right. So, but I mean, at this point, it should come to the Switch, right?
You say that because you have that expectation. We're talking the Switch.
Switch 2. It should come to
Man,
the Switch 2.
if we were talking about the GameCube and then we'd be like, that's not going to come here. They don't port shit over there.
I
You
guess
know what? On the
that's
Switch 1 era, they didn't really port shit there either. Like,
but they
you're
did.
taking
They
for
did
granted for
those
the most
half-assed
part.
versions of things. Like you're bringing up The Witcher, and we're
Yeah,
talking about Doom.
and even then, that was considered extremely rare. Now it's almost expected and normal. That's kind of the point on that.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing is like if we're going to put out a new system, because they even did that on like the Wii U, right? Like when the Wii U came out, there was a bunch of third-party support for it for the first 15 minutes, and then they went. And the reason why they canned it wasn't because the Wii U wasn't powerful enough to do it. It's because Mario Kart outsold it 70-1, and so they said, "Why do we bother?"
It's because there was no attach ratio. Nobody was buying them.
Right, but that's still going to be a problem for this.
Not as much when you're talking about games can exist on both systems.
So I would actually
and there's
really
an
like to
install
know.
base of 150 million.
So if you go look at the Doom 1 sales or Doom 2016 sales numbers and see how much it didn't sell on the Switch, and the only reason it did is because there are 150 million units out in the world, you're still going to look at it and go, that's not all in.
I'm betting a year from now, if we look at Silk Song numbers,
Ready?
number 1 will be PC, clearly. And number 2 will be Switch.
I agree with that. But that's because the PC people overlap into PlayStation and Xbox territory, and the Switch people don't.
Shot.
Actually, I would put it more that the PC people overlap with the thing you're playing on at this point.
Well, that's because you can do all of those other things on a PC, and you can't do everything without a Switch. That's the point I was making. That's what I was
And
actually
that's
saying.
kind of the point about the Switch 2's advantage.
Well,
It's
so
still
that's why
certain
Silk
people-
Song would be that way.
It's still the cheapest option for them to get into. How much is an ROG Ally?
Is it? Because I'm pretty sure Silk Song's still going to come to the Switch 1.
I'm saying of people who are going to buy it. Obviously, if you're counting old hardware, the cheapest way to buy it might be to go out and buy a PS4 used.
That's what I'm saying.
However, that's
Which brings me back again. I'm going to come back around because we're going to continue to come back to this. Why is it that my feeling after watching this thing that I should never buy a new video game ever again if this is what the ecology of all of it is going to look like? Because you said it. It's not any different. PlayStation sucks. Switch 2 sucks. Xbox sucks. Steam sucks. Like, why wouldn't I get out of new games altogether at this point?
you
That's
should
the
have got
thing.
out of new games a long time ago.
Well, now we're finally at that spot, I guess. That was the thing I felt the most watching the Switch 2 thing, is that I should only play Castlevania 2, Metroid Prime 1, whatever fucking Zelda game I feel like, and a Dragon Warrior game because I love them. Like, I should do that for the rest of my life and call it good. As you said, several people said, I should just go dive into my backlog. I don't need this. And I felt that way. And I don't feel that way. I think that's part of the problem with this, is that's not a normal feeling for me.
I
It's
think
me watching and go, okay, here's the limitations. Here's the things I have to overcome mentally in order to get on board for this, but I'm definitely on board for it because that's what we do around here. That didn't happen this time. Now, you want to tell me that I've been feeling it for years and that this is just the straw that broke the camel's back? That's great, but that's what happened.
I think the straw that broke the camel's back was a few years ago, to be honest.
That may be, but this would be the manifestation of it at this point.
It's just the next one until the next one.
And that was the other thing too. Like when the boy said this originally, right? I asked him. I said, "When you saw the presentation, were you going to get a Switch 2?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "After we talked about it for a while and we pointed out all the things and we looked into the stuff that's going on, were you going to buy a Switch 2?" And his answer changed to no.
Got one, 3 words for you, troops. Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, I can play it on my Switch. I can play Metroid Prime 4 on my Switch. Now, whether or not I'm going to get an actual experience out of it, because it's going to be fucking...
I have a 120 FPS.
Yeah, the 120 FPS
Fuck
turns
the
me...
4K.
The 120
I would rather
FPS
do
turns me on a
120
lot more than the
FPS.
4K, okay?
Yeah, it's not even going to be 4K text. What are you talking about?
That was another one, too. During the presentation, they actually showed, like, an up-close look for Mario Kart.
I thought it was pretty good.
Like, when they zoom in, it still looks all low-res and stuff. I was like, come on. Like,
Dude, I watched that part when it did the pixel thing. Mario's up here at the top of the screen. It zoomed in. It's pixelated. It zooms out, and he's in the distance, and the screen's like this big.
no. Because what they're doing is they're touting something that still, at its base, is not high resolution. And they're like, look what we did. We made low-res stuff look a little better. I was like, okay, Adam Sandler. Like, because that's what he sounds like. Guess what? I did a thing. That's what he sounded like. That's what a lot of the stuff sounded like to me. Yeah, somebody's closer. That's what it sounded like to me. A lot of it. And I agree with you. I think that this dam was breaking for many, many moons now, and that this may just be the thing that did it.
No, this isn't the thing that did it. This is the first step in how bad it's.
I understand that too. And if this is going to get that bad, then again, like, what the hell am I doing here?
Why are you hitting so high, dude?
Because he's holding forward when he does it.
Does that make your
Yeah, it gives it a bunch of arc that you don't want.
So
I mean, I hooked mine the wrong way.
I mean,
You'd
drop.
rather upgrade your PC even more than get a Switch 2 for that price. So that's the problem. That's what we started out talking about, is that in order to upgrade your PC, it's going to cost you both of your testicles and at least 3 of your fingers. Because the price for everything is going up. That's the point that Ryan's making, is that this is not an exclusive Switch 2 problem. It's that everything's going to require you to chop off a limb.
No, that's hitting A twice. This spin.
Yeah, but if you hold forward on the joystick, it does.
That was the problem I was having last.
Woo-hoo!
Nice.
45-foot putt, drilled it like a master. By the way, the Masters is this weekend, or up next weekend. They're going to be in Augusta next weekend, and I'm kind of excited about that. So yeah, that's my problem with it. All right, so anything else notable happen during the Switch thing, the Switch 2 reveal? Anything
Notable?
else? Yeah, anything else that we have not discussed? We discussed the upgrades. We discussed the power of the system and what they're talking about with that. We discussed the cartridge situation. We discussed the price and how kind of insane that seems to me. And I do understand your argument about how, compared to other things, value for money, I see where that comes in. I do.
No, I think so. That's why we should watch the Linus one. It was good because you know what he said best. Doesn't necessarily apply to you, but applies to everybody else.
Is what?
Nice shot.
I don't see it that bad because, again, I just bought a PC and it all looks that bad at this
Nice
point.
one.
Right.
And we were always going this way anyway. But it does look bad to somebody like the boy who.
Nice birdie.
Dude, I just drilled another plus 30 putt, man. I'm killing it right now. It does look bad.
If you're making, $15 an hour at this point, you're making $20 an hour at this point. How many hours is that to buy a Switch?
A lot.
It's a lot. And it's not so much inflation, it's the wages haven't kept pace with it.
Right. But
inflation
even with
would
that,
be
though,
fine if you were still making
your
X amount of
biggest
money.
argument is always that we need to put more video games in people's hands to grow the market for whatever it is. This is prohibitive to that.
The hardware cost was never going to be one. Software, I think that's. Hardware is always going to cost what it's going to cost.
Well, they just
You're either
made
gonna
Mario
take a
Kart
loss
cost
on it, or you-
$80.
They did. And that's because development is that much more expensive. Because everybody's not fine with playing Mario Kart Double Dash. They want 4K HD Mario
I'm telling
Kart.
you, man, as soon as we're done with this round, I'm going to pop in Mario Kart 8. We're going to fucking, figure out why this game is worth $80, because when the DLC and everything was all said and done, it was the same fucking way.
It's worth that much because 40 million people bought it.
Actually, it was like 56 million people.
Whatever. It got a lot of people buying it.
Yeah, but the next one is going to not hit 46 million or 56 million people because it's $80.
But it sells even more.
I gotta get this out of the bunker. I'm not getting out of
I'm
the
gonna
bunker.
fuck that up.
Yeah, I'm done. Like, this hole is gonna kill me. This hole is 100% gonna kill me. Yeah, I'm fucked. There we go. A lot of the increases in prices are due to the inflation over the last 4 years. Many companies didn't increase prices along inflation because they didn't foresee how long it was going to last. So what they did instead was they did what was called shrinkflation, and they would change the size of whatever it is, but you can't really do that in video games, right? Like, you're either making a product or you're not. So while the Gatorade bottles got smaller but the prices stayed the same, video games didn't change but the price stayed the same. If you want to say that this is a correction for whatever that is, I can understand that. But again, Sony and Microsoft already made that correction going to $70 for what's going on. You cannot tell me that Mario Kart with a smaller team, there's no way it costs more than fucking pick a $70 game right now. Pick fucking Ratchet and Clank or Spider-Man 2. You cannot tell me that Mario Kart cost more than it did to make Spider-Man 2, and they're selling Spider-Man 2 at $70. In fact, when The Last of Us 2 came out 2 weeks ago on PC, it was $50. You can't tell me that. So every corp I worked for didn't increase their price because they assumed the inflation was temporary. So the thing that I've been saying for years and years about not just the inflation, but just the situation, the economic situation in general, is that there's no mechanism for the prices to come back down. Capitalism would dictate in the long run that if we raised our prices from $4 to $7 and people are paying $7, there's no reason for us to go back to $4. The theory would be, in responsible business in the olden days, that we could sell double the amount if we made it half the price, but they don't care about that anymore. So there's no mechanism when any price increase happens for whatever the reason is for it to come back down. I've been making that argument since long before 2020. I was making that argument back when they raised the price from $50 to $60 on the Xbox 360 video games. Like, everyone's going to follow suit. And Ryan's right about that. Every time Ryan has said this is just the beginning and everyone's going to follow suit for whatever that, he's 100% right about that. I am not arguing with that point at all. Not even a little bit. Okay?
You will look back 5 years from now
and think this is the good old days.
and think this is the good old days.
I know. That's how fucked this is. So I'm going to get out in front of not playing video games anymore in order to avenge or to avoid that particular scenario. Like, that's the whole problem I have with this, right? How would I not be better off just playing Castlevania 2 for the rest of my life?
You wouldn't get to play Metroid Prime 4?
Do I need to play Metroid Prime 4? Can I just play Metroid Prime 1? Now, that is one thing that we didn't talk about. Yeah, or just play the backlog you already have. That is a giant sentiment going on the internet right now. Is just play the backlog you already have.
It's always a giant sentiment.
Oh, you were referring to the talk about the PC costs, not video games. Yeah, the hardware costs are... Yeah, it just is what it is. I get it. But when we're talking about Mario Kart being $80, I'm sorry, you can't tell me that that game cost more to make than fucking Spider-Man 2 did, and Spider-Man can be sold at $7.
Game development cost has no correlation to price. Never has, never will. If that were the cost, and we were including marketing, Minecraft should cost $5, and Grand Theft Auto 6 should cost, $200. It does not correlate to development costs.
Well, it's whatever they think they can get away with at this point.
And the new base and the low end, other than indies,
well, that's why Mario Kart is $80. Yeah, it's exactly
and
that.
Grand Theft Auto, COD, and the rest of them are going to be $100. And wait till there's something considered premium again. Indie will go up to $50.
Well, imagine spending $100 on the base game for Call of Duty and then having to buy every season on top of it. Like, that's where we're headed. Like, that's where we're headed, for sure.
Well, no, microtransactions and DLC have already fucked us on that end.
Yeah, that's true.
I wouldn't put it past COD to launch for $40, but charge a $100 season.
Again, every time they said season, or every time they said skin in Mario Kart, my first words were microtransactions.
I am so fucked.
I am gonna curve this shit into oblivion. It's
You
gonna
are
be
gonna
beautiful.
hope for the greatest curve ever.
I am a maniac. Oh my god, look at that. Look at that shot. Look at that shot. Look at where that curved to, Ryan. Look at my screen. Right, look at that.
My curve was just as good.
That might. I got to the green on 2 on a par 5. Like, kiss my ass. Oh, you hit the tree.
I was fucked. I was further right than both of you. I had no.
No, you weren't further right than me.
than the curve.
Yeah, you weren't. I was way out there. So I've got the clubs. I can do it twice.
I had to turn like this to shoot.
I had to curve twice. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh.
I just made that shit and then I sunk it at an eagle. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what an eagle looks like in Mario Golf. Hells yeah. Okay, but the other thing that we didn't talk about with all of this is that they're exclusively. This seemed really. All right, I'm just gonna let you talk about it. You tell me the impression because I'm not gonna tell you my impression of it. They also announced that they are adding GameCube games to the Nintendo Switch Online. You totally domed that ball. The GameCube games that are coming to the Nintendo Switch Online. They showed a couple of games in the future. The ones it'll launch with are F-Zero GX, Zelda: The Wind Waker, and Soul Calibur 2.
Ready?
It will only be available if you have the upgraded Nintendo Switch Online account, so you have to have the bigger one, not the base one. And it will only work, GameCube games, on the Nintendo Switch 2. It does not work on the Nintendo Switch 1.
Sounds about right.
That is the facts of what that is. What is your impression of that?
My impression not the same as my impression of Nintendo Switch Online has always been.
Is what?
I mean, free shit good, but at the same time, I still prefer owning things.
I do still prefer owning things. All right, if that's your reaction to it, my first reaction to it was, why didn't I just walk over to my shelf and pull those games off the shelf and start playing them on my GameCube?
You know, the answer to that is, oh, I couldn't afford one, and I don't want to go to a game store and pay $80 for a 20-year-old game.
I already had them.
You already had them. Everybody else done had shit.
I understand that too. I already had them. But even with that, I did see the list. They said Mario Sunshine was coming. They said that Luigi's Mansion was coming. Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness are coming.
No, the better question is, when does Prime come, now that Remastered's out?
There is no Prime on that list. There is still no word for where Prime 2 has disappeared to. It's gone. Prime 3 is not there. Fucking the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess remakes are just gone. Also, the rumor was that Ages and Seasons were remade.
The better question with
Gone.
Prime 3 is, do you get mouse mode instead of...
Oh my god, that's what they.
Yes. Right?
You didn't have that thought originally?
No.
He's your son!
I know.
Fuck up.
Boy, you got to think the thought all the way through to the end, okay?
Have you valediction, boy?
Yeah. Gotta get to the end of the thought, brother. So yeah, my initial response for that, they are putting out a wireless GameCube controller like they did the Super Nintendo, NES, and N64 controllers for the other virtual console
Cube one
things.
looks like shit. Third party is the only way to go on that.
I don't know about that. Dude,
The Z buttons are like miniature.
I know. I still have the four Wavebirds from originally that I can play
if
Metroid Prime with.
adapter, you're fine. And we already have the Switch one.
Yeah, I can play Prime Remastered with that right now. Again, how am I not better off just playing everything I already fucking own?
Again, saying the man who comes from a good position.
Yeah.
Rolled around.
Hey man, I have been prepared for this moment of go
Yes.
fuck yourself for years.
Well, everybody else ain't prepared for shit.
I get that part too, so I understand.
This is good for there is good news with this after a patch. You know what that is?
I'm waiting,
Same good news it always is.
which is,
Now these fucks can play a decent F-Zero game, and maybe we'll get a new one.
dude, we're not gonna get a new one.
Not
That's the whole
anytime
point.
soon,
They're just
but-
gonna fucking say, hey, we gave you F-Zero GX again. Why don't you fucking deal with it?
But it gets more people into it. Gets more people playing Wind Waker. Maybe.
Dude,
we get
I
more
want
in
to
that
play
style.
F-Zero GX right
Can you
now.
imagine if we got a new game like Tears, but it looked like Wind Waker and how dope that'd be? Like an open
We're not
world.
gonna get that.
Imagine if we had one that stylistically badass.
It's never gonna happen.
Again, I'm saying imagine.
I
I'm
know.
not saying it's
Yeah,
coming.
your imagination is way too
I'm
is
kinda
way
hopeful,
too
man.
optimistic.
Way too optimistic.
It's way too
I'm the most
optimistic,
realistic
bro.
person in this conversation.
Which is why I don't understand why you're saying the shit you're saying if you're the most pessimistic sumbitch to ever live.
Because I'm not pessimistic about these things. Why did none of us make it there?
I don't know.
Not at all.
It's an
This
elevation thing.
fucking game. How much did I have to overshoot that, apparently?
Yeah, and I'm trying to get it to roll up there and it's not going to. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you're the one who's like, nah, dude, everyone's trying to fuck me. And then you're over here going, except for Nintendo. They are blowing me like the
No.
best I've ever had.
This is not Nintendo blowing us. But this isn't Nintendo fucking us.
Just need to know more.
Yeah,
The difference is I know what a fucking looks like.
I
And
guess.
this is not a fuck.
I know what it looks like. I've been here longer than you by a little bit.
I haven't been fucked as much as me.
I have, believe me, I have.
There's so many loss of leg jokes right now.
I know, man.
It's like I just want one of these days to be going out in public. I swear to God, I'm gonna get the prosthetic just so I can hear some woman bitch about the pain of childbirth.
Oh
And I'm
man.
gonna look at her and be like,
It'd be like,
you know
see
what the
my
fuck
leg?
you're talking about.
Yeah. Even with that though, short of the misgivings of your leg, I have been fucked more than you. So I don't want to hear it.
Enough about your life.
God damn it.
Did you fuck it up again? You did.
I did too.
I did the high ball thing this time. Let's see.
Are
how
you in
does.
the desert?
I'm right next. to
He's in the desert. He's in
I'm
the
in the tall
thing.
grass, man.
Boys
I'm in the
playing on the beach today. Boys playing beach ball.
getting
Man,
that
that
tan.
-2 is about to get erased.
Oh, was he at 4? Yeah,
All right, so there was the GameCube reveal. Again, I thought it was too little, too late, and it's kind
The
of
only thing I hope
disingenuous.
about that is there's more interest in me get more ports of old games. I mean, we just got Bait and Kaitos and a few others, but there's still GameCube era shit I'd like. Number 1 on that list? No, I was thinking Capcom. Beautiful Joe. Like, we need that.
Beautiful Joe would be great.
Like, we need a lot of things
I'm
like
surprised there's not a
that. I would like
collection.
Custom Robo, don't get me wrong. And Chibi Robo, they said Chibi's
Chibi's coming. Yeah, Chibi's on that
coming.
list.
So I'm not too worried about that, but there's a lot of things I'd like from that era.
Chibi's on that list, so that's fine.
Mind you, they're all emulatable, and again, that was
They are all emulatable.
we're gonna watch that Linus one because you know the other thing he said was right, which is there's
Sorry.
He said this about they have some video service right for his shit.
Yeah.
And you know what he said? He said we live in an era where you need to either he said people ask him all the time about how come they don't have regional pricing for their video thing, and he says you know what you should do? If you live somewhere else, log into it, subscribe for 1 month, download every video, and cancel your subscription, rather than leave yourself signed up with the monthly fee.
Yeah. I'm
And
all
he's
for it.
like, that's how it should be. And if you know about piracy and the rest of it, or emulation, just because it's harder or takes work, it's always a question of time investment. How far was that? Jesus Christ, that was a
Yeah,
long
I missed
fucking
my
putt.
40-foot putt, so.
That was like a 50-foot fucking putt. But
Just past me.
it's that it's always going to cost a ton of money.
So that was a question I had about this. It's based
And
on
if
what
you
you're
were
talking
willing
about
to
right
put
now.
the effort in,
Based on the prohibitive cost as I see it versus the inevitable cost as you see it, like how many people would be pushed towards, like if you wanted to play Wind Waker today, you could do that.
yeah, but it could.
So
Anybody with even a decent PC.
like, and there is some work that you'd have to put into emulating it or whatever else it is that you're going to do, right? But my question is, have we reached the price point where that work becomes significantly more valuable for the average person to do?
No,
You don't think so?
people are stupid.
I mean,
Again,
I do
the
understand
reason
that.
Steam exists and all these things is people. It's not that they're stupid. People are lazy.
People are
And
lazy.
it's not even just lazy. It is a question of one thing you have to spend. You have to spend one thing, Troops. You know what that is? Time. And you know what people don't want to spend? Time. So
Well, I was gonna say, like, I'm surprised that the #1 search thing after that thing was like, how do I do Nintendo Switch emulation, or how do I do? Because there is a new Switch emulator out there, by the way. It's supposed to be pretty good. But even with that, like, I'm surprised that that's not the #1 search for thing in YouTube right now. Or I wouldn't be. Let me rephrase that. I wouldn't be surprised if the searches for things like that went up 500% after watching that direct.
and that's a good thing. Because at the end of the day, the market's going to react as the market does. And if people think $80 is too much, and when this finally breaks the camel's back as a whole, that's a win for everybody. This is like the microtransaction and the other thing. We've been fucked for a long time on all of this. And yeah, prices are going to go up, but they're not going to go down until people stop buying.
Well, so this is the beginning of the problem, or
This is the beginning of when it's going to get ugly.
the
Whether or
worst.
not people
So it's
actually
been a
stop.
problem for a long time, but this is when it gets the worst. Like, this is the beginning of the worst
However,
of it. When does the market correction happen?
Well, there's a peril in it too.
What?
Peril is that it crashes again and everybody starts playing Fortnite and shit like that only. And our side of things gets really fucked.
I found it amusing that Fortnite doesn't work on the new system. I know they showed it on the thing, but they said that you have to have the Switch 2 version of Fortnite. Like, you couldn't play with the old version
They're
of
going
it.
to upgrade the quality. It'll be here.
Yeah, like, it's very strange how that works. I don't know, man. All right, we get another round going.
No, food will be here.
Oh, food will be here in a minute. All right. Have we covered everything that we need to cover for the Switch 2? verdict at the end of all of it. I think we've covered all of the highlights.
Day
of the
one
prestige.
purchase.
Is a day one purchase for you.
It would have been a day one purchase for me anyway. And that price to me isn't breaking the camel's back. How much is your PS6 and how much
It's breaking my back.
your PS6, PS5? How much you played it?
I haven't played it as much as
Discount
he
Guilty
has.
Gear.
You can't discount Guilty Gear.
You can play it on PC. He had a PC capable enough.
I
to play.
played the
Yeah.
shit out of Ratchet and Clank. I played the shit out of Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 long before they came to PC.
Again, counting exclusives only and things you counting exclusives.
2 words: Gran Turismo.
Yeah, and he does get the value out of it.
Yeah.
I played shit with Gran Turismo.
However, if you told me, even if you told me back in the Super Nintendo era, what are we at? 3 titles?
Now we're like 6.
6. Astrobots 1.
Gran Turismo,
Gran Turismo.
Spider-Man 1 and 2, and
Mhm.
Spider-Man Miles Morales. Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank.
I appreciate that they came to PC later, but they weren't there up front.
You played Final Fantasy?
I played Demon Souls. I actually
And
played.
I wanted to wait on it. I'd point out. If they'd announced that they won PC, I would never have touched it.
I understand that. I
And
did
at this point, Sony has.
go get it. I did buy. I did play the shit out of Demon Souls on it.
The point is the value.
We're at almost 10. Like, I mean,
the value and the Xbox then, because I can use that one really.
oh, the Xbox I got no value out of.
And soon, I'd like to point out, Sony is now officially, literally, porting everything
Everything to
other than
PC.
Gran Turismo.
I get that.
So if you buy a PS6 when it comes out,
No.
you're gonna get Gran Turismo,
So-
whatever it is,
So
and then nothing else.
yeah, the Xbox value and everything came from Sea of Thieves,
No,
which
the
was,
Xbox value is down here on that trend.
Yeah.
Sony's just right here, but Sony's still right here.
Yeah,
That's
No,
kind of my point.
I understand that too.
And the
But
Switch, sadly, the thing I can say about the Switch 2 is, it's still gonna have exclusives we're gonna want to play.
I want to know how Metroid Prime performs on the original Switch
I wanna
because
see-
that's going to make a big difference for me.
I wonder if
Also, for what it's worth, they didn't announce it was coming on day one. Like, that to me was very, very strange. Like, why is Metroid not day one?
now the thing I hope for the most, what I'd like to see, although it's probably not gonna happen, it's still a touchscreen, right?
Maybe. I don't know. They never actually touched it.
Yeah, don't know about that one yet, but it kind of has to be if they're talking most things are backwards compatible. Most,
Yeah.
you know what that means? We
What?
need a DS and a 3DS
Emulator?
online.
Yeah, that would be funny.
That'd be fucking
That would be
awesome.
funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
No marinated
Wow.
tomato.
That's really small. Okay.
It just said regular fries.
I know. No, not that. Like, this. I guess it's okay. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, so, day one purchase for you?
Yeah.
That's what you said. Boy? He says no. I'm
See,
saying no.
He sounded depressed too.
Yeah.
Probably not.
I'm depressed about the whole thing. Like, that's what this whole thing felt like to me. Like,
So
I'm giving up on video
There
games
is
altogether.
potential good news also. They are looking at because you said that they were having panic mode. Not so much about the hardware. I don't think they'll lower the price on that. I think they prepared that ahead of time. But we could see a price reduction for us all to try.
All right.
We're gonna judge these beer battered, subbed onion rings.
Yeah. Sub beer batter onion rings.
Sauce,
All right.
burger and sauce.
Final verdict. Ryan's gonna buy it on day one. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a maybe in there. Like, Ryan did,
buy it used.
Ryan
Oh,
did say FOMO is a real thing.
Linus said that was great. You know,
Man, what is it with you being a disciple for Linus
no,
this
no,
week?
this one was good. And I watched the WAN show, but this one is good. You know what it is?
What?
No tariffs in Canada. Go north.
Go north. I'm moving to Canada.
No, go up and buy it.
Oh, I just, dude,
It's still English. What are you gonna do? Bitch about the fucking selection between
I'm
friends?
not gonna bitch
You
about
already
anything,
hate the
dude.
Habs anyway.
What are you talking about, dude? I'm gonna move to Canada, go to a hockey game every fucking weekend on my street corner, man. That's what I want to do.
The Winnipegger.
I think that's where everybody is, Black Wolf. He's still debating. He was all for it at first, but still debating. Black Wolf. I think that's where everybody is right now. I'm not going to tell you that there's not an outside chance that I still get one at launch for whatever's going on. I'm not going to tell you that's the same situation for the boy, depending on if something changes or there's other developments to it, or... I mean, really, for me, it's going to come down to Metroid Prime 4.
And you're gonna go
Metroid
trade
Prime...
in your Switch 1.
Yeah, because that's going to be worth a whole $12.
Yeah, my limited edition.
Yeah, we're not trading Switches. But even with all of that, I'm not going to tell you that there's not a chance that it's still going to happen. There is still a reasonable possibility that it will still happen.
That's
However-
what we're gonna try.
I right now, like, the debate part of it is really pissing me off. Like, unless I get over the wanting nothing to do with video games as a whole thing, I don't see it happening. So that's where I'm at. Ryan's all in. The boy is still debating the same way. He feels the same way Black Wolf does. So, I think on that note, yeah, he's still talking about that.
Only need two.
Buying one for him, one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did also tell the boy after watching it, I said, hey man, that Analog Pocket purchase looks like a hell of a deal at this point, doesn't it? He was like, fuck yeah.
Well, it's not what it's
He said something else.
I believe I just didn't watch.
Yeah, but the sentiment was there, so sorry, I'm choking on a french fry. All right, I think that's going to do it for this part or whatever. We made our tea time. French fry went down the wrong pipe. But yeah, we made our tea time. That's 2 weeks in a row, Ryan, and we talked about a bunch of shit. It was like a big win for us. Want it for Mario Kart, even if it's not World Tour and Pokemon. And of course, the portability of a handheld for a console. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you that there's not draws for it. And everyone should have their own reasons for it. It's just, this whole thing made me not want to play video games ever again, period.
Really good iteration. Buy whenever you play. That's like step
I can believe that.
because A, it'll play all your games. B, it'll play everything like your ROG, that's probably play it better. Constantly.
If it was a purchase of convenience, then I would probably be in a different place. I don't feel like it's convenient right now, so that's me.
Well, every launch title does. Nobody should buy anything ever unless they absolutely.
I also think that we should seriously sit down and play Mario Kart and try and understand this piece of shit. There you go. All right, we're out of here. We will talk to everybody. I'm going to get back on and stream in a little bit. We may stream some more today, but this part, we made our tea time. So, made our tea time. We played. You won 2 rounds. Ryan won 2 rounds. I won a round. And the boy lived in the beach today.
Really lost one.
Yeah. Yeah, the boy lost. So, that works out. All right, we'll catch everyone later.